The topic for the GD is AI. Is it a job loss or new opportunity?
आप एक लीडर बन सकते हो, आप एक फॉलोअर बन सकते हो, आप एक कंट्रीब्यूटर बन सकते हो.
फॉलोअर आपको बहुत मिल जाएंगे, लीडर रेयर होते हैं.
All these pointers are noted by the panelists and your marks are deducted.
तो ऐसे नहीं कि भाई दया कर मुझे दे दे, ऐसा भी नहीं लगना चाहिए.
AI will lead to some job loss.
More than job loss is job replacement.
AI presents huge opportunities. They are facing a lot of challenge from the advent of AI.
Life of a software developer who are most threatened right now with the advent of AI.
In near time, AI can't replace agriculture.
The entire group was dismissed.
In actual GD, no one will allow you to even continue.
We lost the plot completely.
ओके तो दोस्तों, जैसा आप सब लोग जानते हो कि IFT में आज भी GD होता है एंड उसके अलावा सिम्बायोसिस के जो कॉलेज है, टॉप कॉलेजेस SIBM, SCM, HRD, उनके सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस में भी ग्रुप एक्सरसाइज होता है. तो GD को थोड़ा समझना ज़रूरी है अगर खास करके आप ये कॉलेज को टारगेट कर रहे हो, राइट. तो सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे कि कौन से डूज एंड डोंट्स है, कौन सी चीज़ों का आपको ध्यान रखना है, क्या चीज़ें नहीं करनी है, वो समझेंगे और उसके बाद में हम एक मॉक GD करने वाले हैं, राइट. सर कुछ टिप्स आप देना चाहोगे?
So when we talk of a group discussion, basically you are making yourself known in a group setting. तो यहाँ पे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप इन अ ग्रुप कौन से रोल्स को अज्यूम कर सकते हो. आप एक लीडर बन सकते हो, आप एक फॉलोअर बन सकते हो, आप एक कंट्रीब्यूटर बन सकते हो, बट एट द सेम टाइम आप इनएक्टिव या पैसिव नहीं बन सकते हो. ठीक है. सो ग्रुप डिस्कशन में व्हाइल देयर इज नो डेजिग्नेटेड लीडर पर से, you are called upon on your own to contribute to what the group is talking about. Yes, you can contradict. Yes, you can agree. Yes, you can disagree. But at the same time, to stand out, you have to contribute and make your point in the middle of the group discussion. ठीक है? So you will not get a chance. You have to take the chance. So you have to break out of that mold and grab it and then go with it. That is all about group discussion in a MBA B school के अगर हम लोग evaluation criteria के हिसाब से बात करते हैं तो. सर
यस और जैसा आपको बताया गया कि अलग अलग लोग अलग अलग रोल प्ले करेंगे. कहीं ना कहीं जो लीडर है उसको थोड़े एक्स्ट्रा ब्राउनिंग पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे बिकॉज इट्स नॉट ईजी टू लीड, राइट. फॉलोअर आपको बहुत मिल जाएंगे, लीडर रेयर होते हैं. तो आप ये कोशिश करोगे बट इन द प्रोसेस यू शुड नॉट बी फोर्सिंग योर सेल्फ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, काफ़ी लोग ये सोचते हैं कि जो शुरू करता है ग्रुप डिस्कशन में उसको कहीं ना कहीं एक एडवांटेज रहता है. बात सही है कि आप अगर शुरू करोगे, आपके पास फर्स्ट मोस्ट एडवांटेज है, अटेंशन आपके पास आ गया. बट अगर वहाँ पे आपने फंबल कर दिया जस्ट फॉर सेक ऑफ स्टार्टिंग, अगर आपने शुरू कर दिया, आपको कॉन्क्रीट नॉलेज नहीं है, तो इट कैन बैकफायर ऑल्सो. तो आपको ये चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना है. जहाँ पे आपको लग रहा है कि आपको पता है, वहाँ पे आप डेफिनेटली कोशिश करोगे कि आप शुरू करो और बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग नोट पे शुरू करो, ठीक है, ताकि लोगों का अटेंशन आपके पास आ जाए. अब यहाँ पे एक और सवाल आता है कि सर अगर मुझे ये टॉपिक के बारे में पता ही नहीं है, ठीक है, जैसे US का अभी जो चल रहा है, ठीक है, तो उस इश्यू के बारे में मुझे नहीं पता है, तो मुझे क्या करना है. तो दोस्तों उसमें भी नथिंग टू वरी. आप क्या करोगे, यू जस्ट लिसन टू अदर पीपल्स पॉइंट. नॉर्मली टेक्स 3 to 4 minutes. 4-5 लोगों ने पॉइंट रखा, आई एम श्योर यू कैन कलेक्ट द नॉलेज एंड फिर आप उससे उसके ऊपर बिल्ड कर सकते हो. यस, ये हम नॉर्मली बताते हैं.
yes, and with that I think the most important takeaway what sir said is to listen actively. ठीक है. ग्रुप डिस्कशन इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट कम्युनिकेटिंग, इट इज अबाउट लिस्टिंग व्हाट द अदर्स हैव सेड एट एनी पॉइंट इन टाइम. You may have to summarize or conclude if the panelist asks you to. If that is not a compulsion, ठीक है. But like it's a group dynamic. So group dynamic means imagine everything. आप बैठे हो in a round table such as this. आप eye contact maintain कर रहे हो. You are looking and smiling at each other. You are nodding and hearing and listening and like that उसके बाद you are agreeing and disagreeing. अब इसमें नेगेटिव डायनामिक्स भी हो सकते हैं, सच एज इंटरप्टिंग, सच एज कटिंग समवन ऑफ, सच एज बीइंग अग्रेसिव. ऑल दीज पॉइंटर्स आर नोटेड बाय द पैनलिस्ट एंड योर मार्क्स आर डिडक्टेड फॉर दिस. पर्सनली मेरा खुद का एग्जाम्पल रह चुका है सिंस आई एम अ GD PI पैनलिस्ट ऑन बी स्कूल्स, जहाँ पे yes once the group got so much into an argument and they got so aggressive because everybody is excited and everybody wants to make their point. It turned into a fish market GD. The entire group was dismissed. 0 marks.
In fact, that was the reason why most of the B schools The top iims and all, they have just eliminated this as part of the selection process कि वो फिश मार्केट बन जाता था. पर यहाँ पे जो भी कॉलेज में आप जा रहे हो, they still believe कि इट्स एन इम्पॉर्टेंट असेसमेंट टूल, तो वहाँ पे आपको कंट्रीब्यूट करना है. अब यहाँ पे कुछ वो पॉइंट्स देख लेते हैं कि कौन सी चीज़ें आपको करनी है, कौन सी नहीं करनी है, राइट. जैसे आपका बॉडी लैंग्वेज, ऑफ कोर्स आप लेड बैक होके नहीं बैठोगे, दैट्स नॉट अ गुड साइन. आई मीन आप अगर थोड़ा लीन फॉरवर्ड करके बैठते हो, टेबल पे हाथ रख के यहाँ पे बैठ सकते हो, वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. सेकंड, जैसा सर ने बताया, लिसनिंग. यू नीड टू लिसन टू अदर्स पॉइंट. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि वो बोल रहे हैं, उन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छे पॉइंट्स बोले और आपको पता ही नहीं है. सो आपको यहाँ पे सुनना पड़ेगा. तीसरा है कि जब आपका टर्न आता है तो आपको इस तरीके से बोलना है कि सामने वाला आपको सुने. अब इसका तरीका क्या है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हम अभी आपको टॉपिक देंगे, आपको समझ में आएगा. कोई टॉपिक ऐसा है जिसके ऊपर आपके पास 4-5 पॉइंट्स बोलने के लिए है. क्या आप 4-5 पॉइंट बोल सकते हो? नहीं बोल सकते. कोई आपको बोलने ही नहीं देगा, राइट. इनफैक्ट एक पॉइंट बोलते हैं और लोग आपको कट करना शुरू कर देते हैं, बिकॉज दे ऑल्सो वांट द अपॉर्चुनिटी, राइट. तो उस केस में अगर आपको 2 पॉइंट बताने हैं तो आप कुछ इस तरीके से कह सकते हो कि यस, यू हैव मेड अ वैलिड पॉइंट एंड एडिंग टू दैट, इफ यू स्पेशली अग्री विद दैट पर्सन. आप ऐसे करके अपना अपॉर्चुनिटी लोगे और फिर कहोगे आई हैव 2 पॉइंट्स टू मेक एंड कीप योर हैंड्स लाइक दिस. You are making 2 points. Point number 1, so everyone is looking कि you are making your first point and the second point is going to come, right? And probably they will not interrupt. पर अगर आप बोलते ही जाओगे तो लोगों को पता नहीं आप कितनी लेंथ तक बोलोगे and someone will interrupt. तो ये आपको थोड़े से ध्यान रखना है. इस तरीके से आप स्मार्टली अपनी अपॉर्चुनिटी यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो.
Actually, sir has put this in a very nice way because this ensures that the person doesn't get confused. But let's take it to the other extreme. What if you keep getting interrupted? Yeah, what if somebody starts talking when you're still talking and your point is not yet over? It is completely okay to tell the other person, excuse me, I'm sorry, let me finish my point, please, and then you can finish your point. ठीक है? तो ये ऐसे बहुत नॉमिनल होगा. Remember, certain adding to the list of not to do things. Do not look at the panelists.
पैनलिस्ट, राइट. कॉमन मिस्टेक.
You have to look at
आपको हमें
each other
impress नहीं
only.
करना है.
कितनी बार सर ऐसे ही होता है जहां पे बच्चे
हमें
एक्सक्लूसिवली
देख के
पैनलिस्ट
बोल
को
रहे
देख के बात करते हैं.
Correct.
The panelists are invisible. It's a group discussion. We are merely observers who are there to evaluate you, mark you, and move on. That's all. So you're not supposed to look at the panelists. Only look at each other. ठीक है? Again, obviously, don't now when we're talking of aggression, don't be too passive also. You are not going to get a chance. What happens if you start talking? What happens if 2 people start talking together? One might back off, one person keeps talking. Now the person who's backed off, you have to come back with your point sooner than later. वो chance आपको खुद को grab करना पड़ेगा. So group discussion is a good dynamic and tactic to push you out of your comfort zone, make you more of an extrovert and contribute in a group dynamic setting.
एक चीज़ मैं यहाँ पे बताना चाहूँगा कि जैसे सपोज आपने भी अभी तक अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिली है बोलने की और आपको भी नहीं बोली है, आप दोनों ने बोलना शुरू किया, तो वहाँ पे आप क्या कर सकते हो? जैसे आपने पहले शुरू किया और ये तुरंत ही बोलना शुरू कर, भले मे बी फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड का फर्क है, तो आप उनको कह सकते हो कि माय फ्रेंड लेट मी कंप्लीट एंड देन यू कैन पुट फॉरवर्ड योर पॉइंट पोलाइटली, राइट. आपने ये कह दिया, मोस्ट लाइकली वो साइलेंट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि अगर वो इतना एग्रेसिव होता तो पहले ही बोल गया होता. अब अगर वो पहले ही बोल गया है तो फिर आप उसको कह सकते हो माय डियर यू हैव ऑलरेडी स्पोकन योर पॉइंट, इट्स माय टर्न टू लेट मी जस्ट पिक अप. ठीक है, मतलब वी शुड नॉट बी बैगिंग एक्चुअली. तो ऐसा नहीं कि भाई दया कर मुझे दे दे, ऐसा भी नहीं लगना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो विल पॉजिटिवली विल से. अगर वो फिर भी कंटिन्यू करता है, कोई एग्रेसिव है वो कंटिन्यू करता है, तो फिर मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा कि यू ऑल्सो बिकम एग्रेसिव, रेज योर वॉइस एंड कंटिन्यू विथ योर पॉइंट, बिकॉज ही हैव टू गो बैक, राइट. मतलब आप ये एक स्टेप में कर सकता हो जहाँ पे एक बंदा जो ऑलरेडी बोल चुका है और वही पूरा टाइम ग्रैब करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो उस और आपके रिक्वेस्ट पे भी वो चुप नहीं हो रहा है, तो फिर आप थोड़ा सा अपना वॉइस ऊपर करके अपने पॉइंट को थोड़ा और एग्रेसिवली रख सकते हो. तो ये कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो आप इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे. बाकी आपको नॉर्मली ग्रुप डिस्कशन में स्टार्टिंग में 1-1.5 मिनट सोचने के लिए दिया जाता है. उसमें फटाफट आपको पॉइंट्स कलेक्ट करने. लंबे सेंटेंसेस कभी नहीं लिखते हो, कीवर्ड्स लिखते हो. ठीक है, मतलब सेंटेंसेस लिखने मत बैठना. जो भी इश्यू है उसके अंदर कीवर्ड्स आपको लिखना है. एक और चीज़ बता देता हूँ, 2-3 टाइप के जीडीज होते हैं, जीडी के टॉपिक्स होते हैं. एक होता है कि फैक्चुअल, जिसमें आपको फॉर वर्सेस अगेंस्ट का स्टैंड लेना हो सकता है. एक होता है कुछ प्रॉब्लम है और उसका सोल्यूशन है, इट कैन बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सम केस स्टडी. तो कुछ एक प्रॉब्लम है, उसका सोल्यूशन बताना है, जहाँ पे सब लोग कलेक्टिवली अपने सजेशंस दे रहे हैं. जहाँ पे फॉर एंड अगेंस्ट है, वहाँ पे जैसे करप्शन, इज इट गुड फॉर इंडिया, तो सब लोग क्या कहेंगे, नहीं इट्स नॉट गुड. अब आपको अगर लग रहा है कि नहीं, देयर आर सम वैलिड पॉइंट्स यू हैव रेड एंड देयर आर रैशनल बिहाइंड दैट, आप ये भी कह सकते हो यस इट्स गुड, ठीक है, इन द करंट सिनेरियो इट्स गुड एंड दिस आर द रीजन, आप ऐसे भी जा सकते हो। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन में जाना है, आपको आपके थॉट प्रोसेस को आगे रखना है। अभी क्लियर? या
I think adding on to Sir's point, don't make generic statements. Don't give, like broad qualitative answers. Give statistical, evidential, quantifiable answers that will make you stand out. A group discussion where you don't have to keep talking. Even if you enter twice or thrice and you make a strong, solid point and you move out, you're sorted in life, no problem at all. Lastly, what if you don't talk at all? What if you don't get the chance या आपको टॉपिक के बारे में पता ही नहीं है? Listen again, because the panelist wants to evaluate everyone. Chances है कि the panelist may at the end point to that one student who's not spoken and say, okay, now summarize what the group has said. Don't please give your own summary. You have to qualitatively, properly summarize what the group has said. So your listening will pay off then. ठीक है? तो जैसे सर ने बोला, the leader may get brownie points if the leader starts strong. The concluder may also just get brownie points if the concluder concludes it perfectly. So listening will always help you.
मीटिंग मिनट्स ऑफ मीटिंग्स आर इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट,
Perfect.
राइट? अच्छा, एक चीज़ है कि अनएथिकल स्टैंड यूजुअली नहीं लेते, वी डोंट टॉक अबाउट अनएथिकल थिंग्स, बट जहाँ पे आपको टॉपिक ही दिया गया है कि इस, जैसे ऐसे टॉपिक्स पास्ट में आ चुके हैं, इसलिए मैं बता रहा हूँ, इस करप्शन गुड फॉर द कंट्री, अगर सपोज ये सही में खराब ही होता तो वो टॉपिक ही ना पूछते। जब वो आपको टॉपिक दे रहे हैं, मतलब देयर आर टू व्यूज, ठीक है, तो आपको रैशनली उसको आगे रखना है। अगर आपको लग रहा है कि येस इट्स हेल्पिंग कंट्री इन अ वे, तो आप वो रख सकते हो, बट बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट के साथ में, राइट? तो ये दोनों चीज़ें आपको ध्यान में रखनी है। चलो तो शुरू करें।
Yes.
या द टॉपिक फॉर द जीडी इज AI, इज इट अ जॉब लॉस और न्यू अपॉर्चुनिटी?
You have 2 minutes to think. After that, we will tell you to start. And then you will have 15 minutes to conduct the group discussion. Your time has started.
Okay, so you can start with your discussion.
Okay, so I would like to start by saying that I think AI will lead to some job loss in the coming years. I think a major reason for that would be with the advent of AI coming in. It is a common known fact that a human can read probably 300 to 400 books a year, and even that is a difficult task. But AI or artificial intelligence can read more than 1 million books each second. So the kind of knowledge intelligence that we're looking at, that really will boost things. That's the first point. And the second point that I would like to say that now AI has been around for like around 2 to 3 years, and we are already seeing a lot of things, a lot of jobs that are or a lot of I would say functions that AI can already do. You see a lot of people who have done their maybe a lot of educated people who have done their 12th or their graduations, and they are looking at economy right now, right? Why is that? Because they are not finding good jobs or they are underemployed.
I think something that's a very key consideration that we should bring into the conversation, more than job loss, is job replacement. Consistently in the history of humanity, we've been worried about the frontiers of tech. If you go as far back as the Industrial Revolution or the invention of the first motor vehicle, I think I've read an estimate where 16 to 17% of the workforce at that point of time was involved in equestrian fields, which is, related to horse, they're carrying carriages and stuff like that. And they thought they would all lose their job. But actually, if you see throughout history, there's been a consistent quality of life improvement due to the frontiers of technology. So there will be a temporarily job shock more than a job loss, where the employees sort of struggle to find new field. But once everyone, and I believe most people will be able to imbibe and increase their quality of life and their sort of output, it's a net huge positive for the economy as a whole and for employees. One person can do the job of three people now. That doesn't mean that the other two are going to get replaced. They're going to do better jobs, more managerial positions, more IQ than EQ. So I think those are incredible field. But ethical considerations are very important to make. So I think guardrails need to be set up to sort of protect sensitive job opportunities.
Adding on to your point, I think the point about horses is excellent, because if we think about chariots and horse carriages, these were things which were seen as symbols of the elite. The kings and the nobles used to have that. Today, because of the technology of automobiles, now even a common man can afford a car or a two-wheeler. So not only have those fields been replaced, but now the thing has mobility has become cheaper with the advent of technology. Another example is fans. So in old movies about kingdoms, we see that kings are often sitting on the throne and they have people to do the fanning for them. And so that kind of thing, to have someone, to employ someone just to cool yourself, like for the fanning, is something only kings could afford back then. And today, because of technology, because of mechanization, in an average person's home, you can find a ceiling fan, in fact, multiple ceiling fans. So the quality of life has been improved significantly by technology. In the same way, today it is very expensive to afford a private tutor, but ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these apps can act like a private tutor. And I believe that this AI presents huge opportunities in improving the quality of life, just as other technologies like automobiles and electric fans have before it.
Thank you so much for your points, but I have a counter opinion that I really understand that it's going to bring up new opportunities and people can focus on more niche aspects of life. But there is one other aspect, right? Like for professions such as artists and for story writers, book writers, they are facing a lot of challenge from the advent of AI. So what I believe is that even though AI is going to create a lot of opportunities, it's going to take off a lot of markets which are known as art, which are known as, the for just for an example, right? Like the Indian culture with the advent of a lot of machinery, we lost those, handicraft segment of the Indian culture itself, and which I believe that AI is also going to, do that to the Indian writers, to the creative minds, and that the aspect of creativity might be lost, is my suggestion.
I would like to give a counterpoint to that. So I think that while AI will certainly create challenges, like we are seeing with AI slop, increasingly artwork is being produced by AI, and it is not original because it is based on what artists have done before it. But I would like to give an example here of sprinters. So sprinting is, you want to see how fast a human being can run, right? Now, with motorcycles, obviously there is no competition. Someone on a motorcycle will always be able to go faster than even the fastest sprinter. But there is still inherent value in in a human being being involved. So I think that no matter how good AI gets, there will still be value for human-made art, just as even though we have very fast racing cars and very fast, automobiles, there is still value to human sprinting. People still go in the Olympics, both to participate and to watch. And in fact, now there are other sports like racing cars, which are only possible because of automobiles. So maybe AI will have something, and the race car driver is also an integral part of that. So maybe there will be some other sports where human beings and AI working together will create art which a human being alone could never do.
Yeah, so even I think along the similar lines to what my fellow colleagues said. For example, last year itself, we heard news about TCS and Accenture. One is the world's largest IT company, another being the India's largest IT company. They laid off a lot of engineers. So me being a software engineer myself, so where I interact with AI on a day-to-day basis, I really feel definitely there would be job replacement, but only if you don't come to terms with AI, if you don't upgrade yourself with AI. There are a lot of plus sides of the AI also. Like for example, there are a lot of tasks, especially in life of a software developer, who are most threatened right now with the advent of AI. But there are a lot of tasks, redundant tasks, like for example, writing test cases, uh, uh, integrating pipelines, which have become very, very easy with the advent of AI. So yes, definitely there will be job loss, but only if a person is not willing to update and upgrade himself with this upcoming technologies. And that's going to be part of any field, not just AI. Technological world is ever changing and it changes at a brisk rate. So you continuously have to evolve yourself. Otherwise, anyways, you are gonna get replaced.
I think I'll just make one small counterpoint here is that you cannot really generalize like this because you have to understand in an economy like India, the top 20% of the population in the range of like in academics, the top 20% of the population will actually upgrade themselves to meet AI and to work better with them, you know. But and similar for the bottom 20% who do not have to compete with AI. There are the bottom segment of our economy does not today have to compete with AI at all because they have physical manual tasks or labor to do. But we are talking about the middle 60%. Those people's jobs are at risk. Why is it so that a person with a Bachelor of Arts degree is going to work for Uber just because he couldn't get a job that was competitive? He's earning more through Uber than doing a job that would meet his academic qualification. So I think that is a major segment of our economy of 145 crore people. I think this 60%, which is close to what 84 crore people, are at risk.
But there is also the fact that these 60% people who are actually effectively in the intellectual middle class, why cannot they use AI to act, not just like augment their own academics or their studies, but AI gives you so much, like it empowers the common man. You can use those same tools to actually start your own ventures or actually help the even more underprivileged who don't have access to AI or that technology. Like I recently heard a TED talk about the use of AI in Africa, where people are using AI to then teach the more underprivileged kids. They're going to help the poor. They're identifying different types of grains, different type of pests, and then they're using AI itself to sort of help the farmers who are not aware of this and like are more illiterate. So just the common person who has just barely done high school, they are also able to make such a great change in the community, and they are creating that opportunity for themselves, and they're also saving the opportunities of other people by doing that. So surely there is more scope for opportunities and for improvement in the general community also, that can be done just by the common man who may not be in the bottom or the top of the sort of academic range.
To be true, I feel that it depends upon the domain we see. India basically is a agricultural and manufacturing focused economy. So in manufacturing, as I am working in manufacturing, I feel the AI would take so much time to replace human effort. And in agriculture, I think in near time AI can't replace agriculture. Only in software, and India, as I told, is basically focused on 70% agriculture and 20% manufacturing. So I feel it is a more of a new opportunity in software role, and it won't be a job loss in manufacturing and agriculture sector. And like Khush pointed, like ki graphic designer would face like job cuts, job losses, but I feel it like new movies like Mahabharat using AI, Ramayan using AI, Hanuman movies using AI, and now more AI movies are coming into picture. So I feel it is only the skill set has changed. Now like human effort is reduced, but the human thinking has grown using AI. Less effort means I feel less effort, but more like human thinking is into place.
I would completely agree with you. Like you have said, in manufacturing sector, in agriculture sector, there will not be very less job cuts. And one more example I can give you, like people work in mines, like coal mines, steel mines. You cannot send AI in the down 300 feet inside the earth. AI can't do that work. only that people can only do this work. So I think AI will impact jobs. Like he said that only those sectors which can be like software and some more sectors can be impacted, but not an overall. There will be job cuts, but like also there will be more jobs also. Like there will be some other person who will learn AI, like who will develop AI.
Understood, but counter to both of your points, agriculture and manufacturing. Recently, there have been, so there's a dark factory in China, which is basically a factory that works without human labor. Why it is called a dark factory is because there are no lights, because they don't need lights. The entire factory is automated. So, regarding manufacturing, AI is taking our jobs already. It's in China and it's going to be in India as well. And regarding agriculture, you can automate a lot. There are machines made for everything, for dripping water, for plucking the plants. A lot can be done with the help of AI.
I think while agriculture and manufacturing are great examples, our point isn't that AI is going to replace humans completely. We're arguing that it's going to cause some job loss, right? Which again, I disagree with. Another important factor that we need to consider is the contribution of SMEs, especially in a country like India, where they contribute nearly 40 to 42% of our GDP, right? AI really empowers SMEs to launch full marketing campaigns, to replace the need of consultants, to replace the need of IT professionals. One person or two people can handle such huge workloads, and SMEs are actually the largest job creator in our country as well. So if you empower SMEs, you empower the GDP, and you empower much more jobs than that are lost marginally by AI.
I would like to counter the point made by my friends. So, with regards to AI cannot go in factories or AI cannot go in the fields. So, AI itself is just intelligence, it is just software, but that software can be built into or programmed into machines. And a great example, and those machines can go in fields, and those machines can go in factories. And a real life example of this is the war in Ukraine. So in Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine have been fighting, and both sides have used drones. Now, one of the things that happens with drones is the ways to destroy them. One of the ways is electronic warfare. So you prevent the person who is flying it from sending their signal to the drone. So the drone will drop from the air. So the solution that both the militaries have used is when the drone does not get any signal from the person who is controlling, then AI flies that drone. And this has been very successful in Operation Spiderweb, which was an attack that was launched by Ukraine on Russia. And there even electronic jamming failed. And this brings me to another point, which is very important, that in terms of war in situations, it is extremely good. We can see the benefits of AI because instead of losing soldiers, instead of losing human lives, that is a job you should try to replace. Because why should we lose our soldiers when we can lose machines instead? Because obviously, I think everyone would agree that a machine is less valuable than a human life.
Okay, guys, we are rushing out of time. So one last moment, whatever points you want to quickly put, and then one of you can summarize. One or 2% can put forward your points. Those who haven't spoken.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just one last point I'd like to put forward is that how we were mentioning about how artists would lose their job, and then somewhere along the line, you guys had mentioned that software engineers would sort of lose their jobs, and production would lose their jobs. But also, I feel like as technology progresses, the things that take more effort and time sort of because like basic economics, how as scarcity goes up, so does demand. So like how people still get hand woven rugs and clothes that are like put a lot of effort into it, hand woven saris. Why does that have demand? Because and like it's very expensive as well, because it's tough to make, and it has that factor of like human effort that really differentiates it from like the machine made repetitive soulless work. And how you're mentioning that AI art is taking over, like AI slop is taking over artist jobs, but the artists that are really good at their jobs will now retain even more value in their pieces, because like they have their personality, and that personality is consistent. I mean, AI is trained with these artists with their work, like software engineers, it is trained on general techniques, but every person has a sort of unique flair to their work which AI cannot copy because it does not have that scope for eccentricity.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can summarize.
All right, I'd like to take this opportunity to summarize this discussion. And firstly, I believe that we had a really fruitful discussion where we discussed both ends in a very detailed manner, talking about how AI will lead to job loss as well as how AI will create new opportunities. We spoke about how in the ancient times, technology has created more opportunities, giving people, aspects of exploring their hobbies, etc. Whereas we also looked at the cons of having AI, where we spoke about content creators, etc., losing their jobs because where their creativity will be replaced by AI, right? And then we saw a lot of counter arguments to the same, where the underemployment aspect was brought forward, where people would have to do niche jobs, as it was rightly mentioned. And then looking at aspects of very brilliant aspects, such as using AI in defense, in using AI in different wars and upgrading themselves, I believe we have come to a conclusion that that even though to an extent AI will lead to a job loss, but aspects where people are able to upgrade themselves, where they educate themselves, they'll be the ones who will be standing above everyone else. And it's going to be a time where everyone will need to upgrade themselves in a quicker manner, and the ones who's left behind will probably lose their jobs.
Okay, thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, sure. So now, time for the feedback. Okay. First of all, it was really a very fruitful discussion. I felt probably the topic was of interest of everyone, right? But still, when this kind of topic comes, the challenge, it becomes even more challenging to grab the eyeballs because everyone has something to say, right? So at that point of time, you really need to make some strong points, impactful points, right? So this is what we'll highlight over here, because most of you have put forward one or two impactful points, and there were some ordinary points which probably might be overlooked during the discussion. Second, the way you were conducting yourself during the discussion, तो वो भी highlight करेंगे थोड़ा सा, और कहाँ पे correction की जरूरत है उसके ऊपर बात करेंगे, ठीक है? Okay, sir, if you would like to start with.
So the discussion started, the topic by the way is very juicy and very relevant currently. And we could have gone to a lot of different angles and a lot of different, slicing could have been done, which didn't happen. But nonetheless, Swati started the discussion. Now the start was very generic. The thoughts were not as composed and filtered. So she gave us a broad overview. It would have been nice if you would have chosen to deep dive then and there. I was not very happy with some kind of unjustified remarks or statements जब आपने बोला कि the gig economy की बात आपने बोली, and उस पर currently बहुत बड़ा debate चल रहा है with Dipender Goyal and with the Zomato and everything कि gig economy is actually killing our country. So as somewhere you try to draw parallel between that and unemployment, ठीक है, which is not justified and which is not again topic relevant. So you have to digress हो गए. Second, very happily like a bell-shaped curve. So what you did was you said top 20% को affect नहीं करेगा, bottom 20% तो आता ही नहीं है, तो 60% को affect करेगा. Now इसमें मेरा problem ये है, we need to again slice and dice the data with our employment and unemployment rates. तो उसमें से youth को करेगा, so that was like a sweeping statement made. So be very careful because panelist is writing down. That means you are making statistical statements which are very hard hitting, which are factually or logically incorrect. So be careful. ठीक है? So let's not kind of have that. Then I think यहाँ से the discussion सर मैं वो order वैसे order में जा रहा हूँ.
हाँ हाँ
So that's
चलेगा.
fine.
तो एक काम करते हैं, मैं आपका पॉइंट बता देता हूँ जो मुझे लगा, एक एक करके फिर लेते हैं, ठीक है? सो स्वाति, जैसा सर ने कहा कि स्टार्टिंग मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपने शुरू किया बट वो क्लैरिटी नहीं थी स्टार्टिंग में. So guys, एक चीज ध्यान में रख लो, when you are starting the discussion you will have to go ahead without pauses.
Very strong.
मतलब आप फॉर एग्जाम्पल सो दैट पॉजेज नहीं आ सकते, अदरवाइज इन एक्चुअल जीडी नो वन विल अलाउ यू टू इवन कंटिन्यू and that will be very detrimental. Okay, so we don't want that thing to happen. I need to have complete clarity and then I'll go ahead. Acha, the better way to start for anyone, not the first one but anyone, especially when you have topic like this, for and against, to convey your stand. I feel that AI is good for the economy. It brings new opportunity because, ठीक है, and those who are starting can also those who are starting the complete discussion can also mention, okay friends, so let me just reiterate the topic. The topic today is AI whether it's a job loss or new opportunity. And I feel it's a new opportunity because of this. So this is how the starting should be ideally. Okay, तो ये कर सकते हो.
We moved on to Lakshya. You made your points. You were looking down on the table for the longest time. You did not maintain eye contact at all. Now, while you may have overlooked this or forgotten about this, but it was very low, very out there. So please be careful because you are supposed to look at the group. And then अगर लक्ष्य की ही ये बात की बात करते हैं, have no eye contact, our Aditya happily only looked at the panelists all throughout.
Is it?
All throughout. So don't do that because then again this counts against you. You're supposed to look at the group, you're supposed to nod and acknowledge and or it's okay if you're thinking and you kind of look down or you look up, that's fine. But at the same time be part of the group, not outside the group.
ओके लक्ष्य, सो आपके ऊपर मैं अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन शेयर कर देता हूँ. तो येस, दैट वाज प्रीटी एविडेंट इवन इन द लास्ट पार्ट. आई ऑब्जर्व कि आप नीचे ही देख रहे हो बिकॉज इनिशियली आई वाज मोर एनग्रॉस्ड इन लिसनिंग टू योर पॉइंट्स एंड देन टुवर्ड्स द एंड आई रियलाइज कि आप तो टेबल को देख रहे हो. तो बीच में आपने आई कॉन्टेक्ट बहुत अच्छे से बनाया. प्रॉब्ली यू वर नॉट कॉन्शियस अबाउट दैट. आप अपने पॉइंट्स को आगे रखना चाहते थे. तो यहाँ पे ये चीज़ का सिर्फ ध्यान रखना है, यू नो टू इन्वॉल्व एवरीवन. कहीं जब आप आई कॉन्टेक्ट बनाते हो ना तो अदर्स विल कंसीडर्ड. ठीक है, तो आप दूसरों को ऐसा लग रहा है कि दे आर बीइंग रिस्पेक्टेड, देयर प्रेजेंस इज बीइंग रिस्पेक्टेड. तो आई कांटेक्ट बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. जब आप नीचे देखते हो तो इग्नोर्ड फील होता है. बाकी सब आपके पॉइंट्स बहुत अच्छे थे. जैसे आपने पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट का पॉइंट बताया, आपने जो डेटा शेयर किया था काफ़ी इम्पैक्टफुल था. आई एम अज्यूमिंग वो 16% का जो आपने डेटा मेंशन किया था वो सही है, राइट. सो आई थिंक व्हेनेवर इन जीडीज यू यूज डेटा, फैक्चुअल थिंग्स सपोर्टेड बाय डेटा, तो वो हमेशा इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट करता है, राइट.
ठीक है. बाकी then Kushal did give examples. Somehow again this was creativity. You were talking from artist perspective, but then again Aditya happily overrode you or contradicted you. I don't think Aditya agreed with that. Then again when we moved this side and there was oh my god, agriculture. Who started the okay. AI in agriculture.
I told like mostly India is based on agriculture and manufacturing.
So AI कुछ नहीं करेगा.
Impact of AI won't be that much considering.
And then Swati chose to override both Lakshit and Bhavesh बोल के because that is not going to happen. So you guys यहाँ पे we lost the plot completely because this was not justified. We were talking. See, what will AI replace? Replicable roles. AI will replace low creative roles. AI will replace no decision making roles. ये आप अगर थक करके बोल दो, then you can go sector on sector. यहाँ पे random sectors were coming around, creativity and artists. ठीक है, okay. So वहाँ से agriculture and then manufacturing, and then Swati said I disagree with both of y'all 60%. So this is a very unstructured. ठीक है, of course it is unstructured because it's a group discussion, but it did not. It left the panelists still wondering what was the group's consensus. Why did justice not get done to the topic? I hope that is making sense. Rest, eye contact was fine. Your modulation and your delivery was fine, and the thought process was there, albeit illogical. But
अच्छा, एक सेकेंड. सो या आई विल नॉट टेक, आई मीन आई विल शेयर डिफरेंट व्यू. सो गाइज, दो द डिस्कशंस, ग्रुप डिस्कशंस आर meant to solve a problem and come to some conclusion. Practically it's impossible in this kind of scenario where you don't know even each other, right? Everyone is trying to put forward their points, right? And whether you accept or not, it's always about impressing the panel member. That's a fact, right? So yeah, points are going to come randomly, but at that point of time, especially when you felt that the discussion was going about technology in the past versus new technology.
bring it back.
So आप टेक्नोलॉजी को कंपेयर करना शुरू कर दिए. कार, बाइक्स,
automation, robotics.
Correct.
We are not talking of that. We're talking of AI, guys.
हाँ, तो देखो टेक्नोलॉजी अलग अलग टाइप की आई है. कुछ मतलब ज़्यादातर टेक्नोलॉजी हेल्पफुल होती है, कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी के एडवर्स इफेक्ट भी हुए हैं. तो यहाँ पे आप टेक्नोलॉजी को कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, तो अगर डिस्कशन ऐसे चल रहा है तो किसी एक को वहाँ पे लीड लेना था और ये बताना था कि गाइस वी आर मूविंग अवे फ्रॉम द डिस्कशन. और डिस्कशन इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट जस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, इट्स अबाउट दिस स्पेसिफिक टेक्नोलॉजी विच इज़ AI, राइट. तो इस तरीके से भी आप उसको वापस ला सकते हो. ठीक है ना? जैसे या कुशल, आई फेल्ट के आपने क्रिएटिविटी लॉस्ट वाला पॉइंट रखा था राइटर्स का, मुझे सही लगा था कि इट्स अ वैलिड पॉइंट, ठीक है? आपने समराइज बहुत अच्छे से किया है, यू हैड जेन्युइनली कवर्ड ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द पॉइंट्स, तो मतलब हर किसी के पॉइंट्स ऑलमोस्ट आ गए हैं, मैं ये कह सकता हूँ, एंड दैट्स द समरी दैट वी वांटेड, तो वो अच्छा था। अगर मैं आपकी बात करूँ आदित्य, सो टेक्नोलॉजी पे आप थोड़ा ज़्यादा चले गए थे, आप टेक्नोलॉजी को कंपेयर कर रहे थे, प्रॉब्ली दैट रैशनल आई डिडंट फाइंड इट कन्विंसिंग फॉर एआई थिंग, राइट? कि आपने कहा कि कार्स वर्सेस बाइक वर्सेस ह्यूमन, तो ये कंपैरिजन मुझे इतना सही नहीं लगा एआई। चलो आपने छोटा सा एक एग्जांपल दे दिया, बट यू हैड टू कम बैक ऑन एआई, राइट? तो एक था, बट यस आपने लास्ट में ऑपरेशन स्पाइडर वेब की बात करी, दैट वाज अ क्लासिक एग्जांपल, दैट वाज अ गुड एग्जांपल प्रॉब्ली इन द कंटेक्स्ट। तो जब आप ऐसे पॉइंट्स मेंशन करते हो डेफिनेटली वो इम्पैक्ट छोड़ता है, राइट? सर एनी अदर थिंग?
No, so
ओके, तो मैंने एक दो और लोगों का ऑब्जर्व किया है, मैं उसका लिख देता हूँ। सो यस आपने रामायण महाभारत का बताया था, यस आपने बताया था भविष्य, राइट? आपने रामायण महाभारत वाला एग्जाम्पल दिया था, करेक्ट है? अब उसको आप जैसे बताना चाहो, एग्जाम्पल सही था, ठीक है, पर उसको आप जैसे बिल्ड करना चाहो वैसे बिल्ड कर सकते हैं, पर मुझे ऐसा लगा कि आपने इतना क्लियरली वो कम्युनिकेट नहीं किया, शायद उसको थोड़ा और बेटर बता सकते थे। इट्स लाइक कि भाई चलो हमने एआई यूज़ किया, बट देन व्हाट, राइट? तो मुझे वो क्लैरिटी इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं मिली वहाँ पे। यस आपने भी पॉइंट्स बताए थे गोविंद, राइट? आपने अपलिफ्टमेंट ऑफ कम्युनिटी का जो पॉइंट बताया कि अगर सबको एआई नहीं आता है, क्योंकि आप फॉर में थे, एआई इज गुड फॉर इकोनॉमिक करके आप बोल रहे थे, तो आपने ये बताया कि अगर कोई एक एआई को यूज़ करता है वो बाकी की कम्युनिटी को अपलिफ्ट कर सकता है। सो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि वो सही है यहाँ पे, ठीक है? इट वॉज वैलिड पॉइंट। हैंड वूवन साड़ीज का जो आपने एग्जाम्पल लिया था वो भी काफ़ी अच्छा था, राइट? तो काफ़ी अच्छे पॉइंट्स आए थे। एंड लास्ट में लक्षित, तो आप तो बाहर ही हो जाओगे फिर ऐसे करोगे तो यू विल हैव टू मेक योर इम्पैक्ट, यू विल हैव टू, क्योंकि इन लोगों ने इतने सारे पॉइंट्स दिए थे तो आपके पॉइंट्स आप बिल्ड कर सकते थे और उसको एकदम क्लियरली कम्युनिकेट कर सकते थे। मुझे ऐसा लगा कि आपने पहले तो कम्युनिकेट नहीं किया, फिर जब आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी आई आप थोड़ा सा अंडरडॉग टाइप फील कर रहे थे, शायद कॉन्फिडेंट भी नहीं थे, एंड देन यू पुट फॉरवर्ड योर पॉइंट, तो वो इतना क्लियरली आ भी नहीं रहा था। सो यू नीड टू करेक्ट दैट पार्ट कि यस यू नीड टू पार्टिसिपेट, एंड आपको पॉजिटिवली कंट्रीब्यूट करना होगा, पॉजिटिवली पार्टिसिपेट करना होगा, राइट? चाहे भले ही आपकी स्टार्टिंग में बस छूट गई, दैट डजंट मीन कि आप कंप्लीटली गिव अप कर दो, राइट? तो थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते थे, और इसमें तो आपके पास भी थॉट्स होगी, राइट? ओके
Harsh, I think,
हर्ष, yes.
spoke less, but then when you did chip in, you used your experience that I am so and so, which was very good. I'm still confused because I think we went into automation and we went into technology. We did not talk of AI. So there's a difference here. There are different domains.
आपने
altogether.
उसी के ऊपर बात करी कि कैसे
Software
हम
engineers.
इवॉल्व हुए, एडप्ट हमने कैसे किया, उसके ऊपर बात करी, बट कहीं पे ये क्लियरली कम्युनिकेट नहीं हुआ। मतलब यस दैट्स ऑब्वियस कि हम लोगों ने टेक्नोलॉजी को एडप्ट किया है, राइट? बट यहाँ पे बात एआई की थी और उसके चैलेंजेस की थी, ठीक है? तो थोड़ा और बेटर वे में आप वहाँ पे बता सकते थे, राइट? ओके, सो गाइस या होपफुली आप सबको एक आइडिया मिला होगा इन केस इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर आईएफटी और दैट काइंड ऑफ कॉलेज, राइट? बाकी सिम्बायोसिस के अंदर ग्रुप एक्सरसाइज होता है, तो वहाँ पे एक चीज़ अच्छी है कि केस स्टडी भी दिया जाता है, तो केस स्टडी के लिए थोड़ा सा आपको ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि इट्स अबाउट रीडिंग एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग द पॉइंट्स करेक्टली एंड देन कमिंग अप विद द सोल्यूशन इन दैट कंटेक्स्ट, राइट? तो वो चीज़ों को आपको ध्यान रखना है।
Done. Okay. Thank you.
ओके, चलो,
All the best.
बाय।